Pastor Martin. Thank y'all. And Murray Holman from Stop Violence Coalition. We on.
That's all you can say, Mr. Murray.
Man,
because he in the hot seat today, smacking left and right. And yes, she's here today. I know y'all asking about Natasha. I'll say hi for her. And again, Happy New Year to you. And look, you can join us in the conversation at 837-1112. We're in the new year. What you heard going on the way out, and what coming in that you need to get off and share with the community. And I'm going to kick it off because
I gotta go get a challenger.
Go get a challenger. I don't need a challenger. You're going to need a challenger.
Yeah, for you. Yes, sir.
Look, so this American Rescue Funds thing ain't over yet. And it ain't over because there's still some unanswered questions and some funny accounting going for it. Nobody wants to talk. So here, let me tell you what my beef is. I don't know, maybe y'all know the answer. Tell me why Councilwoman Zanetta Everhart voted for that. Voted to take the $19 million and spend it toward city debt. Now, I know we're in a different space now, but follow me. When it came down to the vote last week, she voted with the other 3 people who voted to take the money and spend it on city debt. The 3 who voted against it was Councilman Rivera, Councilman Wyatt, Councilman Pope, who happens to be the president of the council, right? Majority. Yeah. And I'm saying, but here's my thing. So what that vote last week was representing was not in the best interest of the community, even though they were hyping about, oh, we got 7 days to spend it in. How can you say that, Jim? Because here's the other part of the trick. So after they had determined with the $19 million what they were going to do with it, all of a sudden, a day later, they come out with, we did an exhausted looking over the books and stuff, and we found $2 million that was should be going to the arts. Okay. But check it out. Ain't that something? They were so firm on the 19 million or what they're doing. Then all of a sudden they find 2 million, and that's only going to the arts. Okay, all right. And they announced that. So that means 17 million going what? Then on the sideshow, they come up with 11 million need to be accounted for by the water board,
Water Authority.
The water authority. And some money, travel money by that water board. But they don't talk. They don't talk to the community. They trying to hide. They don't talk. Then, so that 11 million over there, that ain't got nothing to do with the 19. So they found, like I said, they had the 19. They were going to rob the people of the 19. Then they come back and say, oh, we're not going to rob you of the whole 19. We found that 2 million should not be in there. It should go to the arts. So here's where I got these 2 questions. Then I shut up because the question going to lead right into our guest for the day. Is that I want the first question for you, community, is why did Councilwoman Zanetta Everhart vote yes for the 19 million in the first place to go to the city? What made her think that was so right when you had most of the community, the majority, and you had other council member, one who came on at the same time as herself, which makes me know, what did you know that they don't know? Which they knew nothing. So what did you know that made you vote for that? So that's that question. And maybe somebody out there know the answer. Maybe she might even call and tell us the answer. But the part on the cutting and the slicing hanging him up on the wall with Mr. Murray Holloman. This big question is, so remember I just talked about the money. Yeah, just named the groups who was getting. So my question becomes then, okay, what about all the other groups that were supposed to get money? You know, you had to Stop the Violence, and you had some other groups that are looking to get money. Ain't heard no word about that. So when I saw Mr. Murray today, Mr. Murray, I said, Mr. Murray, how you doing? Did you get your money? He said he got his money. And we want to ask him, how'd you do that? And we want to give him the mic to talk about how that came about, because this is the thing, community. We all need to know how much, how to go down, who was at the switch. And just because I ain't called Oswaldo name yet, I'm calling it now, but Oswaldo needs to be saying something too, because I do know he's one of the gates that if you're applying for city funds, you have to go through. Everybody is shutting up.
His office, basically.
And I'm not going to shut up, because this is when it come around to voting. You can't just vote for people just because what? They hyping on us, and they never delivered nothing. And they'll be the same ones coming around pulling a wagon telling you to vote for somebody. I'm just telling you early. And then my final thing before I give it to you, Mr. Murray, is that I want to congratulate legislator
Tasia
Tasia.
St. John.
Yeah.
Is it cold in here?
And you know, I'm congratulating
Tasia St. John.
Tasia, her first name.
Yeah.
Saint.
But she got married, so there's more to her name.
Yeah, there is more to her name, and I've cut it short. But I'm going to congratulate because she into her post, and also April Baskin, who had her ceremony Sunday.
Sworn in as Senate.
Yeah, right? And state Senate. Yeah. And congratulations to them. But I want to tell you, young folks who are stepping into these positions, and I'm not saying it on you, but I'm just saying, look, you got to help break the tradition, because a lot of people stepped in young. And not whether they knew something, and they were qualified to take on the position. But please change the game. Don't let it be talking without delivering. Don't come through. You know, there's a lot of people who are fans of many people who are in office, but it's not about a fan club. I just want you to understand. Look, yeah, you're gonna get some push. If you're off the road, you're gonna get some push for people who want what they want that ain't necessarily good for the community. In fact, some victories that organizations get don't mean it's a victory for the community. But I'm just asking you and praying for you and hoping you will be strong, clear-minded, able to stand the winds that blow at you from either side. And hey, that's all I want to say. But back to you, Mr. Murray. How'd you get the money? What side door? Who was the one? Who promised it? And how much? Well, people asking.
It was not a side door. Trust me, it was
the process.
A lot of work had to take place with the American Rescue Plan funding that took place. Stop the Violence Coalition applied for it, just like everyone else did in the beginning when we were going through COVID. Money came on the table from Brian Higgins. Congressman Brian Higgins was in office, and during that tenure, Mayor Brown was the city of Buffalo mayor at that time. What happened basically was we all applied for this funding to come to all our organizations, and we all submitted our applications. And in the process, they had a panel that picked certain groups to receive funding, and our application was not basically picked out that group. And so it put me back at the Washington board. So I had to go back and pull our team together, our organization, South Violence Coalition, and come up with a plan. And out of that, funding was going to be distributed, and here we are today. So what happened basically was this.
How much?
Well, we were supposed to. We had applied for out the $4 million that was promised to all the organizations before it became the Neil Dobbins Fund. It didn't even have a name. It was just American Rescue Plan funding. So out of that, when birthed Neil Dobbins, named it after him, City Hall, got this funding, and it was more than that. I think it was almost 400 million, something like that, close to what they had got. And so what happened was we didn't get the money, and boom. So I reapplied. They said, well, your stuff wasn't right, and here and there, and I knew it was, but we had to reapply. So we reapplied, and some funding was left over from Mayor Brown's coffer, probably. The 19 million was there, and so Stop Violence reapplied. We got our paperwork in. We had to do workman's comp. Most organizations, small organizations, don't have that. Workman's comp, disability. You have to have all the stuff in place, and then you have to come up with the scope, and it worked out. With the help of the City Hall and Oswaldo's office and Ron Dixon and others, they helped us with the process of making sure we got our paperwork right and going after it. So what came on the table was $100,000 to Stop the Violence Coalition. That's like only 50,000 for 25 and then 26. So it's really a small amount of money. But I wasn't going to turn down money because it's helping our community. You know, who turns down money? You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, okay, fine, we got in there. But I did take some youth to the Common Council meeting when this discussion was on the table, when you're talking about the vote. And then some Common Council members voted no, some voted yes. And then I start, my kids, my youth in the background, Austin was like, they talking low, they talking secrecy. They witnessed how business was being done, and then they went in recess and they came back and they went to our line. And by the grace of God, I had my paperwork in, and it was hell. I was going to lose out on this grant if I didn't have the paperwork in. Now, mind you, I'm working with folks in our organization that's not that savvy like your mom is with all the type of work, the paperwork, and I almost missed it. But by the grace of God, we got this little money here, and now I got to go and do paperwork now to justify the means of doing events like what we get ready to do now with the bringing in the speaker to talk about her journey. But I'm saying it to all the folks that applied for the funding. They said, Mayor Scanlon said, well, you have 2025 to reapply because there's a new budget line. Everything's coming up. The new budget comes out now, so they're gonna reapply. African American Culture Center got funded. Italian Fest got funded. I don't think Juneteenth applied for it to get funded from that piece there. So that was money set aside for cultural places or pass through. Because remember that African American Culture Center was a pass through for all smaller groups. Say for instance, somebody in the legislation or say, well, go there and you get 5,000 or whatever. What was it called, sir?
No, just saying great name of the great place, but some shady activity.
Yeah, what happened with that? What happened with the African American Culture Center? Like they had this beautiful rendering of this brand new building,
It's still in motion, isn't it?
When I saw it on the news last week, they said they're just going to be remodeling.
Oh, so then I'm going deeper.
So that's why I'm saying, like, when you said you applied for 4 million, you get 100,000. That's not even, what percentage is that? 0.01%?
Yeah.
Not even.
Yeah. So
not even. So I'm
and it got chopped up. This funding got chopped
It's
up.
nothing, because if you got to do salaries,
Right.
And then what kind of work you gonna do?
So it was a point of and this what my thing was, it wasn't the city of Buffalo's money, it was the federal government money. So if they didn't vote, it would have went back. So I'm like, why would a common council member vote no on something that's gonna help our community? You know what I'm saying? And then yet still they have a coffer of funding that they get that they want to, go for. I know University Plaza does a big concert, and I would love to see the budget for that on itself.
But that's why they should have voted no. The three that voted no had plenty of reasoning for it. First of all, the math is fuzzy, and don't even have to ask them to put up evidence.
Right.
The next day after, those four that did vote for it had to come back and show that their math was off.
Then you found 2 million.
They found 2 million. Found 2 million. It wasn't lost. And then what else?
But this whole thing doesn't make any sense to me because, okay, so Chris Scanlon, the new mayor, acts like he wasn't there.
It always a common council member.
Like that's what I'm. But this is what I'm saying. I had something on teeth. I got something on teeth. My protein drink. But I'm just saying, like, if you were there, that's almost like saying he's acting like he's an outsider coming in and all this is brand new.
Well, most of them is acting like outsiders and blaming Byron Brown.
And you can't do that because he's the overseer. That's like
what?
That's like blaming the president.
That's and blaming it. How you gonna blame it on the top head, but you're all in there together? So,
yeah, but here's the thing. They don't even have to look back. They have to look forward. They have to, in other words, okay, given they got a 7-day timeline, but they weren't even truthful about that. They were going to move as if nothing can be done and move to 19 had not people started standing up. And then by their own testimony.
Thank you.
By their own testimony, after they got in there and said, oh, this is the 19 million and this is what and we got to do. And then they come back and say, oh, we found 200 million. No, their math was wrong from the beginning. Their rationale was wrong from the beginning because they didn't tell the truth. They needed to just fess up and say, hey, look, we messed up on where the money was supposed to go, and we're going to look at all those things that we were supposed to give money to and do that.
But don't lose the money. Don't say when the federal government saying you got a deadline of December 31st. If you don't have this paperwork in, then send them back the money. The money should never go back to the
nobody would really go for that. That's out of anger. I mean,
but that's what's going to happen if this money wasn't. If they didn't vote the way they voted, that money was going to go back. And guess what?
Not on that one vote.
Not just the one vote. Not just the one vote. If it would have went a different way, if they would have, how many common council members we have? Okay, if it would have went one way and they say, okay, no, then that money would have got tied up. And then we would have lost out on that money from the federal government.
No. They have to explain how that would happen. That's not so.
Deadline.
But this is what I'm saying about the deadline. They in essence voted. In essence, what wound up happening when they voted for the 19, they were in essence voting no because they come back with new honest math on their behalf. Then it's like, well, you could say no to the 19 that you already had voted in.
So let's do it this way, Mr. Anderson. Since we're on the shakeup, and I'm quite sure they listening in because they always be listening.
I know they're listening in.
Our lines are open so you can explain this to the.
They're not that honorable. I mean, I'm not saying everybody is honorable, but I'll say this: the ones who know are not honorable enough to tell the truth.
If you want a yay or nay.
But this is the question I have, because nobody in this room, to my knowledge, has the power to do anything with stuff we can't control. I think where the frustration can come into it is we'll always say the community, we'll always say these things, but we're not solution focused in our conversations. And so since we have a listening audience and a live stream audience, I guess my question is, and I'll throw this to you, Austin, because I know you don't want to fight for the mic. What is a plan that we can come together and rally together for the things that we can control? Because I think saying the community and the politicians and the preachers and all of that stuff, they're not here. We're here. So Stephen Covey has a book. He talks about influence and concern. So what things could we influence as citizens and start pushing together for an agenda or something? So go ahead, Austin. What happened to them?
I don't know enough about this topic to feel comfortable giving a statement on that.
Well, one of the things that is getting our representatives to talk to the community. I appreciate it if they would do the radio program. I appreciate it if they would call in. I appreciate it if there's someone from their offices would do it for them. Then they wanted to say, well, I can't fit it on my schedule. But we don't get that kind of talk. I think what can be done, and this is why I'm saying, those who are going in, don't be like the past. Don't come after the fact. I mean, look. I like Councilman Wyatt, but Councilman Wyatt often is an after the fact. He talks about we need somebody who will speak up on behalf of the people.
But he did this.
Yeah, but he doesn't.
2 years prior to this, when there was an article in the paper, Councilman Wyatt asked the Common Council about why this was taking place to right now. So he has stuck by his vote I'm just saying that because
Yeah,
2
I
years
look.
ago,
I mean, I'm saying I know he has spoken up on things, but it's generally after the fact, and it's been at a temperature level that it's not about organizing the community or focusing them sharp. It's like, oh, by the way, and this is this. Well, okay, if you know that, councilman, you should be calling people down to organize.
So how do we get leverage? That's
Well,
what it is.
first of all, everybody know every one of us could call somebody. If we had to call somebody to something that we had that was important to be addressed, we know some people
you
to
had
call.
2 freshmen just walking on the floor, right? And I think that's what you were talking about earlier. 2 freshmen walking on the floor, going in key positions, and now have to go vote one way or the other. And that's what you were talking about. Leah voted no or voted yes, whoever, or Zanetta voted no or voted yes.
No,
but they were freshmen.
Zanetta voted yes for paying the 19 out.
Right. So I'm just saying those 2 freshmen is the key piece to this whole thing because they're coming in blind to the common council floor on how they do business. Either they got to go on one side or the other side. And so now here it is. I heard Leah say it was on her conscience, because she couldn't sleep and she would have voted a certain way. I don't know what Janetta said, but that's the thing you have to play when you're a freshman. That's in Congress or anything.
That's bull. I hear you. I accept what you're saying, but I'm saying that's bull. That's the kind of stuff. That's the kind of excusiology that people. Why? What would happen to them? What you gonna say? They lose their job for telling the truth? Because if that's what we're saying, if you tell the truth, you in trouble for telling the truth. Heck no. And then we need to stop people.
Or your vote is swayed when you get votes more because you're a freshman, you come in fresh, you get ready to do 4 years, you can be on the left or to the right on how the vote goes down because you try to vote like, this is happening in Congress right now. Look what just happened for the Speaker of the House, right? It just happened with the Speaker of the House that just got back in, and some folks said he wasn't supposed to be there. Republicans,
but that's because the Republicans, they control it and they wanted to make control.
They wanted to change the person, the Speaker of the House. So here we are with what's happening here in Buffalo, and it goes back to what you were talking about. We have a lot of appointments happening here in the city of Buffalo right now, whether it be the city of Buffalo or the legislation, right, county. And now we have these appointments or people coming in as freshmen. We got April Baskin that's getting ready to be the new Senate down in Albany. So now when you're a freshman, you got to go by the rules. I'm just saying, Austin, how do you feel about that? It's a rule. You got to follow a guideline or stick behind somebody. I think Eddie Murphy had a movie out based on some of this type of stuff here. And do you know the name of that movie, Mr.
I remember when he ran for president in the movie.
Yeah, when he played a part, he had to play voting on cluster busters or whatever, but he knew how he had to go about when you got that little pennant on which way you have to go. Awesome.
I think there is a layer of understanding to say I understand you're trying to get your feet wet, get your feet settled. You're trying to look for your career, looking long term, and really making sure the decisions that you make reflect the people who are going to keep you in that position.